I need you to lean in and breathe, because this is not a casual whisper, it is a declaration from the heavens arriving at the perfect hour. We, the angels standing near your life, speak now with urgency and tenderness. The reason they are rushing to marry you is far deeper than romance or impulse. There is a sacred acceleration beneath the surface, a holy pressure that has been building in their spirit, and when you hear why, when you feel the true motive that pulls them forward, your heart will soften, your doubts will untangle, and you will understand that God is weaving a destiny through this very union. For a long time you have asked the quiet questions in the night: is this real? Will they commit? Why the haste? You have watched seasons pass, doors open and close, prayed with cautious hope, and wondered if loving well would ever be enough to secure a future. Know this: what looks like haste to human eyes is often heaven's precision in action. There are assignments, there are openings in time, and there are missions that require two ready hearts to stand together. The push you sense is not panic, it is a gathering of courage to step into a calling that only a covenant can carry. Hear the story we have watched unfold, the way they have been refined by struggle, how their prayers turned into resolve, how old fears were dissolved by a series of small, faithful choices. They have wrestled with doubts and seen doors close so they could be prepared for this single door to open wide. When a person rushes to marry, not out of disorder but out of conviction, it means they have been shown a picture in the spirit of what you two can do together, the ministries you will birth, the home you will build as a sanctuary, the generations you will bless because you will love with an altar heart. This is a love that is mission-bound. It will not merely warm your days but will light pathways for others to know healing, provision, and hope. Do not mistake preparation for impatience. Often, love must be hurried because seasons change and opportunities arrive that require immediate stewardship. Perhaps there is a family crisis that needs two steady hands. Perhaps your combined influence will break a chain of pain in one line of descendants. Perhaps the moment to stand in a public testimony is near, and the courage that comes from covenant is what will catalyze it. The urgency is frequently the voice of destiny saying, "Now is the appointed moment." When you hear their confession, when the proposal or the covenant comes, sense beneath the words the holy logic. They know the hour, they have seen the stakes, they are choosing you because together you complete a higher purpose. We have watched the spiritual storms that have tried to derail this path. There have been nights when prayer felt unanswered, mornings when progress stalled, and seasons when isolation seemed to stretch on. Know that those were not random attacks but a refining that God allowed, not to punish, but to purify and to strengthen. Spiritual opposition often intensifies before a breakthrough because darkness senses a coming dawn. The fact that they are prepared to move now means they have overcome resistance, they have been surrounded by unseen allies, and they have been given clarity in the year. This is the moment. Their hurry is testimony to a victory already won in the heavenlies. You may wonder how to receive this hastened love without fear. First, hold your heart with holy tenderness. The very thing that makes you hesitate, the fear of being rushed into the wrong choice, is the thing God has been softening in you. Remember that true love honors the freedom of both souls, it does not coerce. If this move is from God, it will also carry peace in its core. There will be a sense of alignment that settles in your spirit, a quiet confirmation that outlasts urgency. Discernment will feel like a calm, yes, even in the middle of a sudden now. When heaven accelerates timing, it also supplies clarity. Ask for that clarity, expect it. Listen to the small signs around you, consistent integrity rather than dramatic gestures, humble repentance where there was pride, prayers that have turned into practical preparations, and a humility that seeks counsel and blessing rather than secrecy. These are the fingerprints of a love that is serious enough for covenant. When someone is racing toward marriage for a holy reason, they will also be conscientious in the ways they prepare, emotionally, spiritually, even practically. They will be asking for your safety, not just their own longing. They will seek to build a home as an altar of healing, not a stage for performance. There is also a story here about timing and mercy. Perhaps you would have chosen them earlier had circumstances allowed, but the waiting carved more depth into your capacity to love. Perhaps they would have chosen otherwise, but obstacles protected you both from earlier mistakes. Now, with scars turned into wisdom, both of you are ready to carry not only love but responsibility. This kind of readiness is rare. It is bestowed by grace. When two persons arrive at the threshold with a mutual recognition that their union will be a blessing to others, marriage ceases to be about me and becomes about we and them, the children, the community, the tender ones who will be restored because of the covenant you form. If your doubt rises, and it may, remember that God's ways are often counterintuitive. What looks too fast to us may be the wise rush of a shepherd running toward a lamb stuck in a storm. What looks like suddenness can be the rescue that had to be swift to save a season. We ask you to measure this moment not only by the clock of the world but by the rhythm of the Spirit. Pray for discernment, certainly. Invite counsel from those who have walked faithfully and will speak truth without fear. But also, do not saddle a sacred impulse with unnecessary hesitation so that the windows God opens close while you deliberate. There will be moments that feel tender and messy, tears, confessions, the soft exposure of wounds, because a rush toward covenant often forces the heart to speak the truest things it has learned in solitude. Expect vulnerability. Expect apologies and honesty. Expect the unveiling of motives, and when those motives show devotion beyond selfishness, let your spirit be warmed. This rush is not a sprint to a photograph-perfect altar, it is a pilgrimage to a shared vocation. When they kneel with intent, they kneel with a plea for partnership in service, in faithfulness, and in sacrificial love. You may also notice that God moves practical mountains to make a spiritual match possible. Doors that seemed sealed begin to open, jobs, relocations, reconciliations, and finances shift in ways that look almost providential. These are not coincidences, they are divine accommodations. Heaven leans into earth and rearranges details when two prepared hearts align with purpose. Take these movements as encouragement, not pressure. The world itself will begin to conspire toward what heaven has spoken. As you prepare for this fast-moving season, do three things with intentionality: guard your heart with prayer, speak truth with humility, and set wise boundaries with love. Ask God for a clear yes that lives in your bones. Ask for wisdom so that your yes will be steady. And ask for protection, not because God is careless but because the enemy will attempt to sow confusion before a harvest. Pray psalm-like prayers for guidance and strength. Ask for the peace that surpasses understanding to be your compass. Let the word shape your expectations. Love that reflects the divine is patient but decisive, kind but courageous, tender yet resolute. Remember also that marriage is a covenant, not only an event. The urgency to marry is often rooted in recognizing that some doors only open when two people covenant before God, family, and community. Covenants change the atmosphere. They call down heaven's presence in a different way. That is why the rush is sometimes necessary. The covenant itself will carry power into the very spheres where you are called to minister together: family dynamics, workplace influence, community restoration. Your union will become a living proclamation that God's redemptive love works through faithful human partnership. If you are afraid the rush will undo you, let us reassure you that being chosen quickly does not negate testing. The days after a vow still require growth, patience, and daily devotion. The rush simply moves the starting line. The race of marriage remains a lifelong training of the heart. Be tender with yourself as you step into the covenant. Allow grace to be practiced, forgiveness to be immediate, and gratitude to be frequent. The quicker the entrance, often the deeper the need to root in humility and grace. We want you to feel this truth in your chest: you are loved with a love that sees destiny, not only delight. The person hurrying to call you spouse sees the larger tapestry. They see what you will accomplish together, whom you will shelter, and how your joined hands will lift burdens. Their haste is a holy urgency to steward a season of opportunity with you. When you accept that love, you are not simply saying yes to a person. You are agreeing to co-labor in a work that has been commissioned from above. Let the weight of that calling soften you into reverent joy. Before you say yes, let the Spirit confirm within you: there will be peace, there will be alignment of values, and there will be a willingness from both sides to lay down the self for the good of the other and for the mission ahead. If those things are present, then move with a sacred courage. If questions remain, voice them gently and seek clarity. Healthy haste honors both urgency and wisdom. It refuses to be reckless but accepts the promptings of heaven when they come.